my new doctor and I started another back-to-back cycle. So I guess this would be a trio stim because this is the third one consecutively. We started it on Sunday, and I think we should be triggering in about another week because duo stims take longer. You need more drugs instead of on average 11. I think you need about 15 days. The thing that gives me renewed hope for this cycle is that my new doctor took a look at what my previous doctor had been doing in terms of protocols and other choices she made, and he said point blank, like, I wouldn't have done any of this. He didn't like the letrozole flare protocol that she chose, which, I mean, I had done research ahead of time, so I was comfortable with it. But anyway, he didn't like that. He didn't like how much medication she had been giving me. So my previous doctor had tested my AMH levels last fall, but we didn't get around to doing the IVF cycles until like a month or so ago. So there was almost like about 6 months in between, which if you're like in your 20s, maybe early 30s, maybe that is okay. But for us old gals, if you're over 40 like me, your AMH level can plummet really fast. And some doctors, like my current doctor and my first doctor, do both agree that you should tailor the amount of drugs that you give to your AMH level. And she hadn't tested it, and I'm in Canada, so we use picomoles per liter, I think. In the US, you use a different metric. But anyway, mine went from, I think it was 5.4 in the fall to 1.9, which is really, really, really bad. I think I had done a calculation, like a conversion, just so I could understand more what people on social media were talking about who lived in the US when they would talk about their AMH. And I think for reference, my previous 5.4 AMH in the picomoles, I think was equivalent to just under 1 unit of whatever metric Americans are using. And so, I mean, I'm assuming that means that my AMH now is probably 0.3 in the metric that Americans use, which is really funny. Anyway, it's really bad. So I'm hoping that the cycle that we're doing now, because we started off min-stim, we started off with 150 units, total of stims, and he's slowly ramping it up because him and my previous doctor and some doctors out there think that you can damage the egg quality if you give them too much medication. So he wants to start off slow, and once they're bigger, he believes that they can handle more drugs. So we'll see. I was concerned when he suggested this method that we would be aiming to get fewer eggs, because that's what I'd read about min-stim, that you'd be going for quality over quantity. And I'm already not getting a ton of eggs. The last 2 cycles, we got 6 to 8 mature follicles. So, which is actually really good for my AMH level. In any event, hopefully the reason why we were getting so few blasts recently is because my previous doctor was blasting me with too high drugs, and it was damaging the quality of them. She kept blaming it on the disconnection between my AMH. She's like, oh, the reason why your AMH is low but your antral follicle count is good is because it's the quality of them. They're just poor quality. So I'm very curious to see, especially once we do the chromosomal testing, because I think I'm probably going to do it after this 3rd cycle. So I'm really interested to see how many blasts we get in about a week from now, and then also if there's a much higher euploidy rate, because then I am going to be even more mad at my previous doctor, because she really should have retested my AMH. Like, she knows better. So I don't know why she's making the choices that she made. And that's not the only thing that, from a protocol standpoint, she did wrong. Like, oh, here's another thing. So with the duostim or back-to-backs cycles, everything I had read before had said that you want to start them about 5 or 6 days after your previous retrieval. And I had gone in to like speak with her 5-6 days after we had done the first retrieval, and she's like, oh, your progesterone's too high, we can't start the next cycle until it calms down a bit. And so I went in at least one other time, I think it was twice, for blood tests before she said, okay, we can start stims again. And then with my new doctor, he was like, no, you don't do that, because the high progesterone level actually prevents your body from like recruiting or selecting which follicles it's going to develop. And so if you start stims while your progesterone is still high, you can get a higher follicle count growing, because your body hasn't like whittled the pool of follicles down yet. And when I asked my new doctor, well, then why did she do that? He's like, I don't know. And there were a few other questions that I asked him, like, well, why did she do that? And he's like, I don't know. And these were all things that I was questioning her about while we were working together before. Like, why are we doing this? I thought it was supposed to be like that. And I think one of the takeaways for me is that we need to listen to our guts. After my first cycle 2.5 years ago, when she butchered it, oh, my new doctor has said that my old doctor kept triggering me too soon, and that's why we kept getting so many immature eggs, which, like, okay, fine for the first cycle, because you don't necessarily know how my body's going to react. But then to keep doing it, like, aren't you supposed to learn from your mistakes? And that, or like learn about how my body is? It's just so frustrating. Anyway, right, so I didn't listen to my gut when the first cycle happened, and she didn't have an explanation. She's like, I don't know. Well, I should have gotten a second opinion. Because immediately my new doctor was like, oh, she triggered you too early. Listen to your gut. I keep learning that life lesson again and again in different ways. Anyway, wish me luck this cycle.